Thanks, dear viewers, for joining us on today's edition of Prime News over My Media Prime TV. I am Eileen for presentation. We begin the news in the southwest region, and on a very sad note, at least 6 persons have lost their lives in a ghastly motor accident that occurred along the Boya-Munya Highway. The accident, which occurred on Wednesday, December 14, 2022, has been blamed on a heavy-duty truck that crushed 5 persons on board a taxi. Details with you, Ewane.
The ghastly motor accident claimed the lives of 6 persons on the spot who were on board the vehicle that was crushed by a heavy-duty truck. The accident occurred in the afternoon of Wednesday, December 14, 2022, along the Muya-Ekona axis in the Fako division of the southwest region. According to eyewitness accounts, the accident was blamed on the smoke from the burning of remains by the hygiene and sanitation company Hizakam, which obscured the view of the truck driver, thereby leading to the tragic incident.
Now the second dangerous accident that happened for the place. Since I start burning fire for a dirty fire, look at fire in the motor that, and that the smoke don't try to gig up smoke. Look at the motor, look at the motor.
Reports reveal circulation came to a standstill and vehicles paralyzed for over 3 hours along the stretch after the tragic incident occurred. Several casualties were recorded, amongst which were several persons severely injured. In the meantime, the remains of the deceased have been deposited at the mortuary pending burial, while the injured are responding to treatment at the nearest medical facility. It should be noted it is not the first time such an incident is happening in the said neighborhood. The accident has, however, raised concerns on the safety of people, especially during this festive season. Many are thus calling on the population to be vigilant while on the highway and respect government road safety measures, especially during this festive season.
The conflict in Cameroon continues to cause devastating effects as hundreds have died and thousands more displaced, especially women and girls. Experts say out of these people are of the opinion that women must be part of the peace-building process for there to be real progress in seeking lasting solutions in the crisis. Julian Dambi met up with a woman who is a peace builder in the person of Nicoline Nwenyushi and put together this report.
Previously considered an exclusively male domain, women's role in peace building cannot be undermined. The conflicts in Cameroon, especially in the 2 English-speaking regions, continuously produces gendered outcomes, and many proponents for women's rights are of the opinion that the conflict will not come to an end without women being a part of the peace-building process.
Women have literally been at the center of sustainable peace and policies for peace and development. The role of women in peace building is not a new role, but it was institutionalized and accepted by the United Nations and member states through the landmark resolution 1325, UN Security Council resolution 1325, which was passed in the year 2000.
Looking at the Anglophone crisis, women have been identified by experts as having an important role to play. According to them, women have frequently been the first to take the necessary risks to promote dialogue across divided communities, and so that should significantly put them at the forefront of searching solutions to the crisis.
Cameroonian women have played the role of peace educators. And the aim of this peace education that Cameroonian women have engaged in is to maintain peaceful communities and prevent violent extremism, because we also believe that if conflicts have escalated the way they have, it is because there has been the lack of a certain degree of education on moral rearmament.
Despite their significance, as well as the fact that women are mostly more affected by the effects of violent conflict, experts say Their role in seeking solutions is not fully taken into consideration.
I will say a yes and no. Women's voices have been heard to the extent that they have played a role that is crucial and indispensable, as I have mentioned above. And to this extent, I would think some of the challenges and limitations that women have faced have to do with national ownership of the peace-building processes in Cameroon. Because we are told that peace-building processes are primarily a national challenge and a responsibility. It is therefore the citizens of that country who should design and own peace processes with the support of government. And I think we have not seen this happen a lot in Cameroon. Women don't own the peace processes.
Therefore, activists are calling on more women to be a part of the peace-building process in Cameroon and for policymakers to support their initiatives and their opinions.
I would say there are both challenges and limitations need to be transformed into actions through policies and programs. For women and girls' voices to be heard and implemented, all key stakeholders need to step up. We're talking about the international technical partners, we're talking about the government, we are talking about women themselves. They need to step up and advocate more for their voices and their concerns to be implemented in the peace building processes in Cameroon.
In all, women's participation is vital in peace building, and so their voices should be heard in decision making for a better Cameroon.
The National Committee of the International Association of Lawyers have met recently in Douala for their General Assembly. The meeting coincided with the handing over of power by the former executive members and the relaunch of the association's activities in Cameroon. Joy Ngang completes that story.
Lawyers in Cameroon, under the banner of the National Committee of the International Association of Lawyers, came together after 5 years for their General Assembly on Wednesday, December 14, 2022. The meeting was aimed at reviewing the activities of the previous years and relaunching the activities of the committee.
Finish our General Assembly, the National Committee of UIA, which is International Association of Lawyers. Very old association of lawyers, about 100 years. In our agenda, we had to meet and have a review of our activities for the past years. Unfortunately, we couldn't hold a meeting because of the COVID. So we just got one today.
The General Assembly coincided with the handing over of power by the former executives and an assessment of their accomplishments.
Had also to hand over the position of president, because I've been president for the past 5 years, to my learned colleague, Barrister Foju Roberto.
It was equally an occasion for the committee members to strategize ahead of future projects.
We are working now to develop more seminars in Cameroon, and also we are preparing our Congress. The next Congress will be held in Roma, so I'm inviting many lawyers of the Cameroon Bar Association to join us, and let's go to Roma, the younger one, to meet us so that they might benefit from this amazing association where you have all the best expertise in various domains of the law, and which is also concerned by the equality between gender.
The International Association of Lawyers was created since 1927 and brings together lawyers practicing civil law, common law, and Islamic laws.
Onto something else, stakeholders in the educational sector as well as parents drawn from the 6 divisions of the Southwest region are currently receiving training on how to identify and properly manage autistic children within the school milieu and at home. Kuma Honore now tells us more.
Learning preferences. You are all teachers trained, so you know what I'm talking about. I don't need to be the point. But we don't have a diverse.
Opening the 4-day workshop comprising divisional delegates, teachers and parents of the PTA in all 6 divisions of the region, the founder of the Center for Research on Child and Family Development, Emeritus Professor Therese Munga Shalom Chombe, said participants will be imparted with knowledge and skills that will enable them address the issue of autism in the school milieu and their homes. The honorary dean at the University of Boya expressed regrets that autistic children are often tagged as witches and wizards before giving a sigh of relief. She added that the workshop will go a long way to change the lives of autistic children and give them a bright future.
Education is like a pedagogy, it's like a therapy. Education has, we tend to talk about clinical pedagogy. When we say clinical pedagogy, it's like you go to the hospital and a doctor is diagnosing you and the rest. In classroom context, it's another medical kind of approach. But we don't call it medical, but because we have our own educational activities that will engage in to identify these kinds of weaknesses in children, particularly as concerns learning.
On her part, the regional delegate of basic education for the Southwest region, Madame Malengwe Rose Bume, applauded the initiative and said the situation of autism in schools have been quite challenging, especially as teachers always neglect this group of pupils and students in schools. She expressed appreciation to the sponsors of the project for the giant step, which according to her, government alone cannot handle the problem.
This workshop is greatly appreciated because, as we said, most teachers were ignorant to handle children with disabilities in the classroom. So with this training, it will give them that knowledge to manage a larger class, children with disabilities. It will also enable them to diagnose some of the problems that the children are facing. So I think it is a great importance to the teachers.
For their part, the Secretary of Rotary Club Limbe and the club treasurer, Dr. Ndakwa John and Dr. Ndukwe John respectively, said the club identifies hard issues in the society that are difficult to address and seek solutions. Hence, the workshop to address autism in schools.
It's always been our strive to elevate the situation of the world, that people should live in a peaceful society, in communities where everybody can participate, can give their own understanding of what they know about the world. Rotary generally supports things that are like hard, you find them difficult. You can't give an answer to it. Like the case of autism, most of the time you think that these children are useless. They are idiots. They know nothing. It's just a problem to the family. No, nobody was born to be a problem. Everybody has a distinct role to play in society. And if you can identify those attributes of the particular child, you can use that child in society.
For 4 days, participants will receive knowledge on the meaning, type, and determinants of autism, restricted, repetitive, and stereotype patterns of behavior, communication and social deficits, interactive deficits, autism identification instruments, amongst others.
An organization known as Build and Sam has carried out a campaign aimed at empowering young children combat environmental hazards such as waste pollution and the importance of waste management and recycling. This is within the framework of the project Biomimicry, aimed at encouraging people to take up actions to protect the environment. Julian Dambi completes that story.
Just like the Bible verse says, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. In the same light, Build and Sam, a non-governmental organization within the framework of the project Biomimicry, is on a mission to empower 2,000 kids with education on the importance of environmental protection, recycling, planting of trees, and the management of plastic waste.
Andre Maro, here in Yaoundé 5 subdivision. Wherefore, we thought it necessary, the members of Build and Sam together, put together this morning, we thought that it's necessary to encourage these children, make these children understand what is the importance of the environment, why they should keep the environment clean, because we believe that environment is life. And if we have to preserve life, it means that we have to preserve the environment. And to begin with children, children are one of the most sensitive beings that you will ever see. So if you start by bringing these children with such attitudes at this age, remember the category of children we are doing these activities, age range 4 to 11 years old, so they are very young kids, and we believe that at this age, whatever thing that is being put in their mind will stick down there in their mind. And so if environmental protection is one of the important things that we need to keep and preserve, which ties with the most cherished sustainable development goals, I think that it is worth applauding.
The campaign, according to the representative of the organization, Comte Princeville, 30 primary schools in the center, littoral and north regions of the country will benefit from this education. In the launching ceremony today, December 16, 2022, over 150 kids were sensitized on the need to protect the environment and handed materials carrying messages of environmental protection in general and biomimicry in particular. The pupils were excited about the organization's visit, as well as told My Media Prime the steps they will take to keep the environment clean.
Pour garder mon environnement propre, je peux recycler les objets en plastique.
To keep my environment clean, I do recycle plastic objects. In recycling plastic objects, I do create things like jewelries, toys, and other items. By doing this, we give value to our environment and ensure its continuous cleanliness by picking up sheets of papers on the floor.
Lorsqu'on voit un papier au sol, je dois le ramasser et le mettre dans un bac à ordures.
Project by Build and Sam is carried out in partnership with other organizations in the environmental protection work. In all, the population is reminded protecting the environment is protecting life.
That was Julian Dambi reporting. Now, the new head of the East Regional Human Rights Office has been sworn in. Ewane Botiba Philippe was sworn into office on Thursday, December 15, at the Betua Court of First Instance, with a call for him to be assiduous in the discharge of his duties. Details right ahead.
The National Commission for Human Rights and Freedom, recently created by a presidential decree, is being slowly installed in all 10 regions of Cameroon. The East region has just welcomed its first regional head in the person of Ewane Botiba Philippe, now charged with the huge task of ensuring human rights and freedom in Betua, East region of the country. He was sworn in at the Betua Court of First Instance in the Lum and Jerem Division on Thursday, December 15, 2022, in the presence of administrative and judicial authorities of the area. The state prosecutor called on the new head of the National Commission for Human Rights and Freedoms for the East to respect the laws of the Republic, shun from abusing the power given him, respect all human rights, serve the country, and not wait to be served.
1. Ewane Botiba Philippe.
I, Ewane Botiba Philippe, promise to carry out diligently, with no impartiality, the duties bestowed on me to respect the rules and regulations that exist and to carry out my job accordingly and professionally. Ewane Botiba had this to say after his swearing in.
I've just sworn in, and it's a great responsibility, given that now I am supposed to serve respecting independence of the institution, probity, and impartiality. There are many stakes at hand when it comes to the peace region. We have so many violations, especially those targeting vulnerable groups,
I think in particular about the refugees, internal displaced persons, and indigenous persons. Those are the people in most need of their rights, and it is now my duty to protect them.
However, Mr. Botiba depends on the support of the population of Lumanjerem to effectively carry out his duties.
With the ceremony, swearing-in ceremony that just took place, I have taken an oath to protect the rights of all the populations of the region. That is what hopefully I will do with the support of the population, the said population, and with the support of civil society organizations.
The judicial and administrative authorities of the East region have also been called upon to work in collaboration with the newly installed head of the National Commission for Human Rights and Freedoms to ease the smooth functioning of the latter's job.
Anti-religious news, 16 newly ordained pastors at the PCC Beach Limbe will be making a total of 23 newly ordained pastors of the Presbyterian Church for 2022, as they will be joining the other 570 pastors serving God in different congregations spread across the globe. The ceremony was presided at by the moderator of the PCC, the Right Reverend Funky Samuel. Details with you, Catherine Kongwe.
Some 16 newly ordained pastors of the Presbyterian Church of Cameroon Christian Batch of Fire have been called to preach the gospel of Christ with faith and boldness. The call was made by the moderator of the PCC, Right Reverend Funky Samuel, during an ordination service that took place at the PCC Beach Limbe.
Yesterday, I quoted Joshua chapter 24, verse 15, and I was telling them that they have a choice to make. A choice either to make or to bar their ministries. And so the answer to their future, their ministries are in their hands. And for those who are broken out of ministry, it is their choice. And the church cannot do anything. We have trained them, we have given them the ministry and empowered them for service. It is between them and their God. And they have made their choices to leave. But those who want to stay should continue to stay. So I've told them that the answer to their future as pastors of the Word and Sacrament is in their hands. So whatever they want to decide to do, it's up to them.
The ordination exercise is a continuation of the ordination of some 7 pastors who were ordained at PCC Bafusam, making a total of 28 pastors ordained by the PCC in 2022.
People are not yet aware that a woman can actually be a minister. And most of the time when people hear me say I am a pastor, they are surprised. And so this is going to be a booster for me, because it is I will use it as an opportunity to make others, especially the women, to know that we are all called. Apostle Paul said it that there is no Jew, there is no gender, there is no male, there is no female. So as far as the service of God is concerned, we all can do the work. And as a woman, it is high time for us to wake up. As women, it's high time for us to wake up. So I'm going to use this opportunity to create an awareness for my fellow women that we too can serve God and we can be outstanding women.
Serving in this ministry. I also like to thank the hierarchy of the church for the trust and the belief they have in me for giving me as a full-fledged pastor in the Cameroon. There is one thing, and the great assurance is that Christ has called us into the ministry. Like the moderator said, this is a ministry that we have to serve God for free. We have to serve God diligently with all our heart. I think that ordination of pastor is another boost that has added to me to serve him while it is day, because when night comes, no one will be able to work. So as a young minister, I would rather do the work now while I am still energetic.
The PCC moderator encouraged them to make use of their various gifts endowed on them through the oil of ordination to impact the life of the Christians, as the 23 newly ordained pastors now join a total of 570 pastors serving in the ministry of Word and Sacrament in different congregations spread across the globe.
Let's now talk health. Around the world, an estimated 600 million people suffer from diseases that are born from infections caused by poor food hygiene and sanitation. Sadly, this phenomenon increases during the festive periods like the Christmas and New Year season. Bokengo Wolfi Kimia tells us more.
Christmas comes with laughter, joy, peace, merriment, sharing, gifts, drinks, and most importantly, food in all its entirety. Yet, if this food are not well preserved and conserved, many may end up in the hospital during this season due to poor food management and safety, most of which can lead to death over time in severe cases.
Food should be a source of nourishment and enjoyment, but far too often it becomes a source of disease and death. Unsafe food is responsible for more than 400,000 preventable deaths every year. It's also a frequent cause of absenteeism at school and work, preventing people from achieving their full potential. And yet, food safety has not received the political attention it deserves.
With more than 400,000 people dying yearly from eating contaminated food borne by poor food hygiene, safety and sanitation, food safety this month of December is a must, especially for our children, our toddlers who are more vulnerable to infections and diseases.
More than 600 million people fall ill and 420,000 die every year from eating contaminated food.
Safe it is to say that most foodborne illnesses and diseases are highly preventable by means of proper hand washing. Avoid mixing vegetables and fruits like lettuce and cucumber with raw meat, poultry as well as seafood. Cook meal well and properly. Clean cooking surface or area properly, as well as wash food properly before storing or keeping in the refrigerator. What noting is the fact that safe, healthy and nutritious food accounts for a safe, healthy and nutritious family today, tomorrow and all year round. Seasons, greetings.
You're welcome back. Now, the indomitable Lions of Cameroon may be out of the FIFA World Cup tournament, but die-hearted fans in the city of Douala and across the country are still striking into every football rendezvous. Visiting the village Eventify here in Douala, Nolinga in the following report says the emotions are unquenchable thanks to the creation of multiple fan zones across the city by the leading brewery industry, Les Brasseries du Cameroun. High reports.
Despite the fact that the indomitable Lions of Cameroon did not sail through their group stage during their participation in the 2022 FIFA World Cup in Qatar, however, the animation still lives on across many Cameroonian cities thanks to the benevolence of the #1 supporter of national football, the Brasserie du Cameroun, who throughout the tournament has set up massive and minor fan zones permitting thousands of football lovers in the country to get a glimpse from Qatar. And now, this is how many have come to say thank you.
Et merci pour... C'était fabuleux hein, dans ce fan zone, il y avait un monde fou, donc voilà, tout le monde était venu derrière le Maroc. Tous derrière le Maroc. Ben dommage, mais nous n'avons pas été déçus. C'était une très belle finale, ils ont très bien joué et on a été satisfaits.
Given that football and the consumption of alcohol go together, we now visit Le Village Eventify, one of such fan zones created by the Brasserie du Cameroun. The crowd is catchy, but not more than the eyes would ignore the gigantic logo of the beer brand 33 Export, an indication that enough has been made for fans to drink and watch the semi-finals of the tournament, which however saw France beat Africa's lone representative at the tournament, Morocco, 2-0. But this is how the match has been appreciated with unquenchable hopes for many.
On avait beaucoup d'espoir pour l'équipe du Maroc. Nous étions confiants parce que nous savions que le Maroc avait un potentiel. Le Maroc ne nous a pas déçus en tant que tel. On avait une très belle équipe du Maroc qui a manqué simplement de réussite. Je pense que c'est prometteur pour le football africain demain.
Il faut dire une chose, c'est que la France est une grande nation de football. On n'a rien à regretter du parcours du Maroc.
on peut seulement tirer un coup de chapeau aux Marocains et se dire que cette fois-ci le Maroc a trouvé un adversaire taillé pour son calibre. Et bravo pour les Français qui n'ont pas démérité leur qualification.
On est dans le football, on doit être accompagné et nous sommes très bien accompagnés par le supporter numéro 1 du football, 33 Sport, et nous sommes fiers. Mais alors, nous sommes fiers de la prestation du Maroc, fantastique, magnifique, extraordinaire. Nous sommes fiers, nous sommes contents et nous croyons tout simplement que cela augure de très bonnes choses pour l'avenir du football africain.
With an already set up podium, Brazzaville Cameroon has also used this avenue to project national talents as Loco, Sol Sosi, Le Kankang Boys, amongst others.
Now let's talk sports. Argentina and Paris Saint-Germain forward Lionel Messi will retire after the final game of the FIFA World Cup on Sunday. This is according to him. He had already hinted months back this would be his last, and so he has confirmed. The 7 times Ballon d'Or winner and his teammates will go against France in the finals of the competition on Sunday in order to grab a memorable farewell gift. Magdala Eyong-Bisong tells us more.
Argentine star Lionel Messi has confirmed he will retire